Hey, welcome to Stunner Stage. My name is Stunner. This is my stage. Today on Stunner Stage, we're doing something a little different. We've got two powerhouse performers from the Minnesota music scene sitting down to do an interview. But that interview is with each other. First up is Beth Hill, the dynamic lead singer of Sugarbuzz, and also the Mega Beth Project. Known for her commanding vocals, high energy performances, and the kind of stage presence that can light up a room. Joining her on the stage tonight, Mr. Davidson, lead singer of Outlaw, a hard-hitting band that's built its reputation on raw energy, grit, and a sound that refuses to be ignored. Both Beth and Tank have carved their own paths in Minnesota rock, and today they're not just our guests, they're each other's interviewers. Expect stories from the stage, reflections on the scene, and maybe even a little friendly banter between two artists who know exactly how to pour heart and soul into their music. So without further ado, please welcome Mrs. Beth Hill and Mr. Tank Davidson on Stunner Stage.
We're soliciting. We're soliciting.
Yep.
We're soliciting.
Hello, Minneapolis and beyond. Welcome to Stunner Stage. I'm Tank,
And I'm Beth Hill. Welcome.
or as we like to call her, Mega Beth.
There we go. I suppose we should talk about how we met then and how that came about.
That would be yes.
Okay.
I know that we met, so we have an open jam, or as I like to call it, live band karaoke. Exactly. So it's just like, where you can be any musician, you can get with other musicians and, do all these songs. And it's been going on for almost 5 years now.
It'll be 5 years at the end of August.
Right. Yep. And, but I do believe it was, I don't know if it was right away that you...
It's like it might have been the second or third one.
Okay.
Maybe that I came out. It was like in August of, it was pretty soon after it started.
Okay,
So.
gotcha. So it's safe to say that we've known each other for about 5 years.
Yeah, about 5 years.
So.
Absolutely. So we met at Mad Mike's open mic
Yep.
in Fridley. That was going on COVID times.
Yes.
And it was Scott Sanderson who actually saw a video of mine online, and he said, you should go to this open mic. And I'm like, yeah, I got nothing to do because it's COVID and there is like literally nothing to do. Bring your own microphone. And I remember sitting in the back and I was so terrified. And all these people looked like they were friends and everything. And I would sit in the back, and the first 2 times I went, I would go up and I would do my song, and then I would race back, and Scott finally came up to me and said, you can kind of move toward the front if you want to network with people. And he said, you can go in the green room. I'm like, I can go in the green room? Oh my gosh. So then.
And it takes place at a place called Route 47 in Fridley, Minnesota. It's been going by a lot of names. It used to be the Main Event, which I've been going to there for about 20 years.
Okay, Main Event, Pickle Park.
Yep, The Park.
The Park.
Well, it was GB Lighton's Pickle Park, then just Pickle Park, then The Park, and now it's Route 47.
Yeah.
So
cool.
It's been through.
Yeah.
Quite
So
a few.
we get to watch each other's musical escapades.
Yes.
And we're interviewing each other today, by the way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that you and I are probably, I don't want to brag, but, two of the most lively of the vocalists.
We have energy.
Yes.
I'll admit to having energy.
Exactly. And believe it or not, that was the one thing that when I first saw you perform, and I believe it was Barracuda.
Probably. Yeah.
Yes. I saw you do Barracuda, and the way you moved, I was going like, wow. I pride myself on trying to put on the most energetic show that I can. But I always want people to outdo me. My whole
That is noble. I like that.
Well, my thing is that when you're doing shows, you want each band to be better than the other. So it's just like, I want people to outdo me because the fans are the ones in the end that love it. So it's just like.
Yeah, I love the quality because I think the quality of musicians kind of push you to do your best and to learn things outside of your comfort zone.
Exactly.
Which I think an open mic experience, whether it's Mad Mike's or whether it's another one, because there's several out there. There's Ziggy's, there's Shaw's.
Yep.
There's other ones, and you can network. I mean, a bunch of bands were formed from that. I met
Oh, yeah.
my husband from that.
And you formed at least 2 bands.
At least 2 bands from that. Yeah. And also, started singing stuff that I wouldn't normally sing. I was kind of a Celine Dion karaoke competitive singer, and then all of a sudden somebody said, "Hey, you can sing high stuff. Can you do some Iron Maiden?" I'm like, "What's Iron Maiden?" So anyway.
Well, I discovered my bass player there.
Oh,
So actually, Cabs,
Cabs,
right? So
yep.
I've known Cabs for years. I've known him since the late 90s, right? But I did not know until, I think it was 2022, that he played bass.
There you go.
And it was just like, if I would have known that years back, I would have snatched him up like that. It was just like,
This is how it happens.
Exactly.
This is how it happens. Should we jump into the? Okay, I'm going to ask you the first question.
Yep.
Okay. So what is the first memory of when music truly spoke to you?
It was actually, I want to say late 90s. I was in a band. We were actually practicing next door to a local band called UKI, which featured Chainsaw Kane, who was in a band called Slave Raider, and Michael Schneider, who we call Happy, who's now in Hairball.
Sure.
And, I've actually been performing way before then. So it's just like, I've actually been performing in one form or another for about a little over 40 years. Started off in 9th grade in theater, moved up, and then after high school, I did one theater afterwards. And then, theater's okay, blah, blah. And then I started finding music, and I got into this band. We were practicing, and one day we happened to be walking by UKI's studio, and Happy, well, I call him Happy from this point on, he's already out there, and it's just like, the one thing I noticed about Happy at the time was he spoke in monotone. It's just like, okay, he's just, like this,
Okay.
type thing. And he says, well, we have this, well, it was an open jam, but they didn't call it an open jam at the time.
Okay.
They called it amateur band jam night.
Okay.
And I was the one that came up with, type thing. And it's just like, so he's, hey, why don't you come to it, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, okay, cool, type thing. And I go there, and let me tell you, this guy, when he performs, it's night and day from when he speaks. It's just like, he's all over the place, and it's just like, I didn't realize that put a seed in the back of my head. That planted a seed.
Sure.
So I did that for a couple of years. And then I started realizing, okay, I don't have the best voice in the world. How am I going to, work on from that point? And then 3 years later, I went to see Poison, 1999, in Chicago. And they blew me away. It's just like, totally, it's just like, they were all over the place. It's just like, they had pyrotechnics and stuff. They didn't need it. It's just like, even Ricky Rocket behind the drums was just like going crazy, right? And it inspired me. And that was my aha moment. At that point, I'm going like, okay, you want to know something? That's what I'm going to do. I'm not the best singer in the world, but I'm going to be a showman. It's just like, that really inspired me. And then coming back, all of a sudden I'm watching Happy. Happy is like the most energetic person that I've ever seen. So I'm going like, and I became his unofficial protege.
Okay. All right.
I studied him. I just watched what he did, and I figured out a few tricks here and there. But
The stage jump?
No, the stage jump was my own. That was the one thing I created.
Okay.
So I have this little thing where I have this saying. It's just like, if I ever mess up on any song, if I do really bad, do a stage jump, drum riser, jump right off the drum riser, and
He jumps off of drum risers frequently.
I'm like a bigger version of David Lee Roth, just not quite the splits, type thing. And it's just like. And I just learned to go from there. Okay. So, but you, on the other hand, you got a stage show, but your voice is, in my opinion, okay, there are 3 types of vocalists. There are the ones that do the voice, there are the ones that are the showmen, and there are the ones that can do both. Now, it's very, very rare to find someone to do both, because usually the good vocalists are trying to concentrate on their vocals type thing. And I can only think of a handful of people that fit into that category. Bruce Dickinson being one of them. And you.
I like being categorized as Bruce Dickinson. I'll take it.
I mean, it's just like you actually inspire me
Aww.
to do better, because I'm going like, okay, I'm following her. Okay, I know something. It's just like, oh, she set the bar this high, and now I gotta make sure that I jump the drum riser even higher.
I like that.
So tell me a little bit about what got you into it.
It's funny because when I was 3 years old, I really killed it at Farmer in the Dell on my dad's tape recorder. But after that, I didn't sing much at all, I think. But I've always a performer. I was actually a dancer. I was in dance, competitive dance throughout high school. And, I had some choir, some training in college, and I kind of gave it up until something called karaoke came along. And I started competing. And I thought, oh, this is really fun. And I had joined a couple of original music bands just on a lark. I was a backup singer. I didn't know much. And then when the band broke up, we had an original music project that really didn't go anywhere. And so I kind of gave it up until competitive karaoke became very big. And I traveled to Finland and, Stockholm, Sweden.
Ooh.
To compete. So my last championship was November of 2019 in Stockholm, Sweden, for the iSing championships. And during the course of my karaoke, I remember a place, Nysons. They had a karaoke competition, and I won that competition. And part of the package was they give you a little CD of your performance. So I used that to say, maybe I could try out for a band. Let me try out for a band. And I used that because I thought, well, if they hate me, they'll just look at my video and go, okay, thank you, but no thank you. Because I didn't want to show up to an audition and just completely barf. And Sugarbuzz was looking for somebody at the time. So I joined them, and I was, I think I was always inspired to sing, but to actually perform in the band scene and with Sugarbuzz for about the first many, many years. We were playing the VFW circuit, and that we were playing the Richfield Legion actually like 6 times a year, and that was it. That was all we did. And then people were raising kids and doing all that, and then we changed individuals in the band, and then there was all of a sudden more freedom. So we started going and getting more gigs, and we had a really nice gig schedule. And then the jam came along, and I thought, well, I need to kind of spread my wings a little bit. I was going through some personal stuff. I had a divorce that I was going through. So I was in Lonsdale at the time, so I wasn't going to any of the local scene. I'm way south, way south. And so once I moved into the metro area in 2019, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll try my hand at some of these open jams and, just try and get into the scene or just look at the scene. So I think it's very helpful when you're out either at a jam, supporting bands, doing whatever, to just get out there. And do it, because then people are like, oh, you're in a band. What band are you in? And then we started to get more people interested in coming to see Sugarbuzz. And then that actually helped Sugarbuzz quite a bit to get better and better shows. And then, of course, then there's Queen of the Reich that formed out of that after the folks that were thinking about it heard me sing Queen of the Reich. So we should do a Queensryche tribute. And then, Trilogy caught wind of it, and I've done some original music projects for people around the world, actually, just because they see the videos, right? So it's kind of first memory of when it truly spoke to me. I was singing Farmer in the Dell on my dad's tape recorder, but that I digress. So there you go. There's the story of life. So, okay, now I'm gonna change. So what was you kind of alluded to this.
Right.
What was your first concert experience? Maybe
actually, that wasn't my first one.
No? Okay.
Now, the question I have to ask you is rock concert or any concert?
Something that feels inspiring to you as a musician. So if it was like your kid's recital, then I would say, well, did it inspire you as a musician? Or something that inspired you as a musician. The first one that inspired you.
The first one, actually, the one that inspired me was actually the Poison one. Yeah.
Okay, that's my first concert. Did you know that I had a first concert too at '89? Poison
Really?
at the Duluth Entertainment Convention Center, which is now Amsoil Arena.
I would love to have seen him in those days.
Yeah, I was very young. I was very young, and my friend almost got like killed in the mosh pit because she's 4'11", and it wasn't a mosh pit; it was just general admission, right? And you just are all squished up against each other, and you're 4'11", and you're just like drowning under people. So I had to kind of dive in and save her and go up to the cheap seats.
Yeah, the first time I saw them, it was at World Trade Theater or something like that. It was the amphitheater over in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
And what had happened was, I had six rows back, main floor.
Oh, all right.
And it was just like, when they started playing, everyone just started, joining up. And it's just like, security guards bringing everyone back to their seats, right?
Yeah.
And what really impressed me about the band was, I knew their set list. Their set list hadn't changed in a while. Mm-hmm. And I already knew what song was coming up next. And just before CC starts in, Brett's going like, whoa, hang on, CC, hang on a second. And he looks out into the crowd and says, okay, I know you security guards are doing your job, and we do appreciate that. But these people aren't here to hurt anyone. They're here to rock and roll. So please allow them to come up to the front of the stage.
Nice.
And the second he said that, boom, everyone rushed up there.
Oh, boy.
And it was the greatest. Wow! It was just
Yeah.
It was just that power that they had.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. That's super awesome. We both saw Poison as well. Yours is most inspiring. Mine was just my first concert.
Right.
So let's see. It says, who were your first local musical heroes? You talked about some.
Happy was my first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm stumped on this one because I was not in the scene. I'm sorry, I was not in the scene at all for most of my adult life. So so as I'm coming into it, like I don't even know of anybody. I feel like such an idiot. But I was very inspired by, and I don't even know if it's the same people in the band anymore, but I loved Boogie Wonderland. And I love Chase Innovation. I think they're wonderful. And so it's kind of like, but this is Beth in her later adult life. I'm like, I wasn't in the scene. People will say, do you know so-and-so in the scene? It was back in the day. And I'm like, I wasn't here back in the day. I had no idea of back in the day.
Well, for what it's worth, my first rock concert wasn't until '92 when I was just 1 year from graduating from high school.
Okay. All right. Cool. That's fair. That's totally fair.
So I was a late bloomer there. I saw 2 country acts when I was younger.
Okay.
Because I listened to what my parents listened to. It's just like they were into pre-Beatles rock and roll, Elvis, Carl Perkins, the whole 9 yards. And then when the Beatles hit, they hated the Beatles, so they switched to country. And
that's an odd shift.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, that's what I was listening to.
Okay.
Up until about 86. And then 86, glam metal was the big thing.
Okay.
Type thing. And I was in a small town, 300 people. Everyone knew everyone,
Yeah.
You fought on one side and they knew about it 2 seconds later on the other side of town.
What town?
Ashby, Minnesota.
Ashby. Okay, I've heard of it.
Yep.
I'm from Aiken, so.
Oh, okay. So it's halfway in between.
Small town.
Yep. In between Alexandria and Fergus Falls.
Okay.
Yep. And almost right in the dead center. And
it's a bathroom break town.
Yeah, exactly.
Bathroom break in Ashby.
Yep. And my friend, one day, brings me a mixtape. Okay, the original mixtape.
Do we have to describe to people what a mixtape is? Is your audience, John, old enough to understand what a mixtape is? Maybe?
So a mixtape is basically, back in the day, it was cassettes. Mm-hmm. And they would take, they would either go from cassette to cassette, or they would, for those who could afford the CDs, it was just like, they switched from CD, but, it was mostly cassette. And he hands me a mixtape, 4 songs on it. And he says, take it home, listen to it, tell me what you think. I was just like, so I take it home, and I'm listening, and I'm going like, wow, there's just something about this that I really like. Mm-hmm. And there's this one song I thought was Rolling Stone Satisfaction, meaning I never heard the song. I heard of it, but I never heard it.
Oh.
So I'm listening to it. I really love this. This is like really catchy, blah, blah, blah. Next day I go to my friend. I'm going, hey, that one song, is that Rolling Stone Satisfaction? He gives me this weird look. I'm like, no, it's Poison's I Want Action.
Oh.
4 songs off Look What the Cat Dragged In, their first album.
Oh, okay.
I Want Action, Talk Dirty to Me, Play Dirty, and Look What the Cat Dragged In.
Okay.
I was hooked ever since. And then 2 years later, he introduces me to Appetite for Destruction.
Uh-oh.
Guns N' Roses. And yeah, the rest they say is history.
Yeah.
You know, and I was so naive back then. I mean, I've got this picture of me in 9th grade. I look like a geek, you know, just short of the pocket protector and the high water pants. I was so naive that I didn't know there was swearing on Appetite until they released Use Illusion.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it's just like, all I knew was that, hey, these guys look cool, you know.
They got a vibe.
They got a vibe, and it's just like, I want to be just like it, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, that sort of planted a seed at that point.
Okay.
But I didn't become really obsessed with being in a band until
Yeah.
until my my mid-20s.
Okay.
You know, early mid-20s.
I thought, you know, I think it's interesting, and maybe we put too many governors on ourselves as musicians. I hesitate to say artists because I feel like, well, I'm not really an artist. I play cover music and I sing other people's originals and sometimes my own. But it's funny that we tend to put governors on ourselves to say, nobody's going to want to come and see this. I'm not in my 20s anymore. You know, who's going to want to really, you know, do this? And I think if you bring a good experience, if you bring the best experience that you can, if you bring a show, people will want to see it. If you try and put the best product together that you can, that fits with your style. I think what I like about you, Tank, is that you write music that suits you, that suits your style, that suits your voice, that suits everything. So Outlaw Saint is right, is perfect for you because it is the perfect expression of all the best things that you can do. And so I really appreciate that.
Oh,
and
not a problem. And since you actually mentioned the whole show thing, so that's one thing we're experimenting with.
Oh,
you know, that we're noticing is that here in Minneapolis, it's, you know, the original scene is okay, but it's mostly a cover. You know, it's mostly a cover city. You know, people want to see the covers, but I'm coming across a lot of people that really do want to see originals, but they're just so unfamiliar with, you know, the songs that, you know, they'll usually stick with the covers. And we're on a small scale. You know, we have a very energetic stage show. It's just like, you know, it's just, and I have noticed that people, there'll be hanger-ons at the bar. There'll be, you know, the usual bar people, staff that just come in just to drink, and we just happen to be playing that night. Right?
every bar has them.
And there's been a couple times where we put on a show, and there'll be times where a lot of people, they just talk in the background. You can literally hear white noise in the background, you know, when you're watching a band or even when you're performing or whatnot. And I always try to read the crowd. And it's just like, here I am, I've got these speakers. They don't have a drum riser, so I have these speakers that I jump off, so I call them, you know, jump risers.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know, I do my David Lee Roth meets Meatloaf thing. Yeah. You know, type thing. And it's just like, I've noticed on quite a few occasions that these people who don't even come to see us, don't even know us, silent. They're staring, they're watching us. I mean, there was even one point where there's one guy, kind of drunk, you know, was so into us that his girlfriend literally had to drag him out of the bar.
Oh, that's nice. That's gratifying, I think. I think that's very, very gratifying.
And what we're trying to do is we're trying to market ourselves as more of a live band. So basically, come for the show, stay for the rock and roll.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's good marketing. I think you touched on something a little bit about the experience. Yes, it's, you know, I'm pretty much in the cover scene. I've got some original stuff, but mostly the cover scene, and that's and that's what brings people to bars by and large.
Yep.
And as a band, your job is to sell alcohol.
Yes.
Whatever else you think it is, it's nothing. If you're at a bar, your job is to sell alcohol, and you know, when you're thinking about what kind of band to be in, to start to explore, The last two that I've had, the Queensryche tribute and now the Megabeth project, are different. It's not, we're not doing Journey, we're not doing Katy Perry. So you're really taking a chance with material that is going to have a niche. It's going to appeal to a certain group. And with the Queensryche, Queen of the Reich, kind of my goal, or our goal, was, hey, you know, we typically partner with other bands, so we'll go with another tribute band. And my mantra is, hey, if you're here to see the music of Queensryche and you know and love Queensryche, we hope we honor that experience for you. But if you've never heard of Queensryche and you don't know anything about them, we hope that we've made a new fan out of you for that kind of music. Yep. And then the other project, I know I jumped questions, but that's okay, right? Is that okay?
Not a problem.
Okay.
Not a problem at all.
The Megabeth project was of a similar kind of bent, which is do songs that people are aware of, by and large, but nobody really performs. And it could be either due to some technicality, so I get some really good technical players, or, you know, it's you're playing the dance bars and the dance clubs where you have to sell a ton of alcohol, and then the girls need to be dancing and all of that, so you have to do certain songs. And we decided we're not going to be that.
Right.
We're only going to play a handful of times a year. We'll probably open for and partner with other bands, but we will market ourselves as a completely different experience. Rock on the edge, which means on the edge of popularity, on the edge of recognizability, but something that we hope is more of I'd call it a concert experience. So it's not the people that are out there dancing. It's like the tribute groups or even the original groups where the dude's out there on the dance floor, if there's a dance floor, with his or her beer, just sitting there watching. And that's a compliment. Somebody's standing on the dance floor just watching you. And that's it. And it's interesting to see that there is amongst this sea of covers. And you know what? I'm still unabashedly, very proudly in a cover band. Sugarbuzz, love them. They are my bread and butter. But there's also a hunger for these other types of projects, which is fun to do if you have time for them and just to explore what the audience is.
Well, I believe they should work together. Covers and original bands having you know, make sure you have the right, you know, the right type of band, you know, type thing, because here's the whole thing is that people, like I said, it's just, you know, they'll go out to see covers, but a lot of them don't even know if some of these original bands even exist, you know, type thing. And not only that, you know, that's access to all these different people, but it's just that you never know. It's like one of those people out there might actually like what you're doing, you know, type thing. And I'm even willing to open for bands, tribute bands of bands that I don't necessarily like.
Sure.
For example.
Expanding your audience.
Exactly. For example, I'm not a big fan of Tool. Okay, they're talented musicians, you know, but you know,
you're not listening to their stuff.
Their stuff is boring. You know, they're trying. Well, they're
sorry,
trying,
Tool fans. No, I'm kidding.
They're trying too hard to be the perfect musicians, and it takes that spontaneousness out. But if we have a local tribute band, 10,000 Days. Okay.
Jose, hello, if you're watching this.
Okay, you want to know something? If they were to ask us to open up for them, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Oh, heck yeah.
I would do it in a heartbeat because you exposure to that, and I'm just speaking for myself here, and we've tried it on a smaller scale, and I want to try on a larger scale. I believe that the show itself might interest those people.
That's what you have to do with original music or music that is a niche, is partnering with other bands, opening with other bands, taking your lumps, and that's the only way you're going to get exposure to build your audience. It's hard to have a niche or an original music project and it's just you by yourself at some club and you're asking people to come out unproven, right? Unproven, but if you're there with another band that has some sort of name, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's how it's done.
Right. Yeah. And you were speaking about the drinking, getting people to drink. We even have a little idea on that. Well, I do a little psychological thing.
Okay.
So what I'll do is I don't drink. You know, I haven't drank for 2 years. I had a bad experience 2 years ago. But
that's enough. That'd be enough.
Yeah. But I still need to get the people to drink. So I do this little psychology.
Or at least buy
thing.
it. You don't have to drink it. Just
exactly,
buy it.
Exactly.
Just buy it.
Well, now a lot in the 90s and all that, a lot of bands would do the here's a Jack Daniels but only has iced tea in it. But to me that's sort of misleading, type thing, and almost cliche. But anyway, that's my opinion. But what I use, I'll do like I'll bring up a bottle that's wrapped in a paper bag. So it's just like, I'm obviously not saying that it's alcohol, but there's that stereotype that, that usually means alcohol, a wine only type thing.
Gotcha.
And, or something else that I'm trying nowadays is the red Solo cup.
Oh, okay.
So it's just like, yes, unfortunately, with the bottles in the bag, it's kind of hard to fit it in my, the cup holder.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's becoming a little bit of a pain trying to put it back in while I should be out there, performing. So I'm doing the Solo cup, and I'll just have it nearby, so just in case I, deplete the Solo cup. Oh, hey, I'm pouring alcohol in my Solo cup.
Gotcha.
It's just that psychological, and a lot of people, they'll already be inebriated the whole 9 yards, so theoretically speaking, this is totally outside the box, thinking, hey, that might, he's drinking, hey, I'm going to drink with him, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Hey, bartender, give me another shot. Yeah. In theory.
I do, what I do, particularly with Sugarbuzz, because it's more dance party bands where you are selling alcohol as your primary mode of operation. There are particular drinks I like. I like the water moccasin.
You used to love that.
Yeah, you used to love that, yeah. And so I will just say to people, hey, you ever tried a water moccasin? Like, while people are changing guitars, I'm like, hey, it's, Crown Royal, peach schnapps, and pineapple juice is really good.
I've seen you use that line a couple times.
Yeah. And then I'll say toward the end of the night, if I, when I'm done with all my hard songs and maybe only have a few left or whatever, or during the early night, I'll ask for one from the bar. I'll order one from the bar through the microphone. I usually get sent up like 5 of them. But say 5 people just bought something.
Yeah,
right?
exactly,
5
exactly.
people just bought something. I may or may not drink it at all, ever.
Yeah.
I might pass it around to the band, or I'll just hang on to it or pretend to take a sip, because I generally don't drink when I'm performing. But your job is to sell, which is hard because you're like, I'm such an artist. I'm an artist. I want to be an artist. So anyway, okay, I'm digressing. Okay, gig. What are good gig road stories? I've got one from this weekend.
All right.
So shout out to Omni Brewing. We were the headliner for their 10th anniversary thing in Maple Grove. And they were new to this. They hadn't done the big tent parties, the parking lot parties. And so the guy, Paul, hello, Paul, wonderful guy, the entertainment coordinator, just putting together all this stuff, the bouncy castles and the food trucks and all the cornhole games and this big stage that had like 3 bands. And Rick Doubleman was sound. So
Rick, yep.
Rick, very solid.
Rick.
He did sound all day. Hello, Rick. He's also our sound guy for Queen of the Reich.
Yep.
And toward the end of the night, we have our little technical issues here and there, and we kind of get through them, and you learn to think on your feet and talk through them while Henry's guitar goes completely dead or something like that. But at the end of the night, we had like 3 songs left, I think it was. All the power goes out. It's like 9 o'clock at night. Like everything dies. All of it. Lights, all the power, everything. It just, and we're just sitting there. I'm like, okay. And there was still quite a few people there toward the end of the night. So it was right at the end of Heartbreaker, the song Heartbreaker by Pat Benatar. So we just sang, we just sang it through the end of it. And I'm kind of looking, and Mitch is on lights back there, and we got Rick back there, and they finally boot things up, right? They boot it up again, and I hear Henry yell, "My Kemper's all messed up," because it's all electronics, right? His pedal board, it's all electronics. Did he lose his settings? I don't know. It kind of freaked him out. He's new to Kemper. And so it booted up again. I was like, okay, all right, should we try this? So we go into the next song, and we get done with the next song. It dies again. Everything goes down. The problem was the generator wasn't big enough to handle what we had. So we kind of made a joke out of it. We're just like, hey, Sugarbuzz is too powerful for the stage. We are the Great Oz. And they booted it up one more time. And we were just going to cut it short by one song because the entertainment director, he and his wife's first wedding song was Steel Heart's I'll Never Let You Go. And he really, really wanted to hear that song. So we encored that and then it cut right at the end. So we got through it. But, it's just kind of one of those things where you have to think on your feet. You're going to lose power. Some drunk person's going to steal your shoe and chuck it across the way, or steal your sign and it ends up on a campsite the next day. I've had people steal. It's a Sugarbuzz. It's a 30-foot sign right off the stage in front of us while we were there. Like, they did it, and we didn't even see them do it. And Steve and I got done. This was at a festival in Nimrod, up in Nimrod. This is like a year or two ago. And so Steve and I are looking at each other. I'm like, oh, one of the other guys must have found, rolled up the sign, put it in the trailer. And, Mark comes to me and goes, so where's the sign? I'm like, oh, I thought you had the sign. I was like, no, I don't have the sign. I'm like, okay, the sign is gone. Call the sponsors, the bar owners who were doing all these days of music outdoors. And she was just embarrassed. She was just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I can't believe your sign was stolen. Well, it caused like a small panic in Nimrod and surrounding during the summer, and people were looking for it, and it was at somebody's campsite. They literally put the big Sugarbuzz sign. What kind of idiots are you? You want to steal a sign, probably not tell everybody you have it, outside. So all the calls were going around. I had gotten home and I got a call, and they're like, we've located the sign. I'm like, okay, and so they put like out this big thing on social media saying, please bring us back the sign. We won't ask any questions. And within a few hours, it was on their doorstep, and they had to ship it back to us. I had to wash it a lot, but that was good. What did we?
Actually, I want to backtrack here for a real second here. So speaking of Never Let You Go. If I'm not mistaken, so a while ago, someone did a video, and okay, now how many views have you had on that?
It's at 94,000.
94,000. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that video the reason why you got that original band out of
Indiana
interested?
It was that coupled with a Queensryche video. So they like scanned a few, and then somebody put me in touch with somebody else. But that one's brought some opportunities. Yeah.
And that was actually one thing that we pulled off at Mad Mike's.
Yes.
So it's just like
that was off list too.
That was Oh no, it was on the list, but
no, it wasn't on the list yet.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, it was under about me. The switcheroo.
Yeah, the switcheroo.
Oh, okay, yeah, talk about that.
Okay,
really
so
about that.
The host, Mad Mike, had this idea. So this is a very high song, and I don't have a high voice at all. I'm more the lowercase. So it's just like, he was going like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have Megabeth sing in the background, in the back.
Behind the speaker.
And have you mimic it and make people think that
because you know every word.
I know every word to that song. And it was just like, I'm going, yeah, whatever. So it's just like, but okay, let's do it, right? And it's just like, the funny thing was that everyone, he had it down as Never Let You Go Tank.
Yes.
And everyone who knows me, who knows I'm singing, going like, I gotta see this, type thing. And it's just like, if you look at the video of me doing this, it's like
hysterical.
Everyone is just getting up to the front of the stage, going like, we gotta see this, and then all of a sudden it's just like, I'm lip syncing, I'm doing a Milli Vanilli to you singing in the background of this song, and it's just like, you look at their faces going, oh man.
There's a couple people though, there are a couple people who legit think he sang that. Who legit think that was him.
That was me. They're going like, dude, it's just like you should be in a rock band. So that you sound good. I'm going like, I really want to tell you, but no, that'll ruin the joke.
But then we flipped it. Do you remember?
We flipped it. Yep.
So Tank sings
Balls to the Wall.
Balls to the Wall by Accept.
Yep.
And it's a super raucous it's Balls to the Wall. It's in your face. So I came out as Quarter Tank. That was my name. And I dressed like Tank. I had the glasses. I had your glasses because you loaned me some glasses.
Yes, I loaned you my.
And then I had a vest. I had the whole Tank outfit, and I got up and we did the opposite.
That was my vest, by the way.
Yeah, you were behind the stack, and I'm lip syncing to Balls to the Wall. And I will say, I gave it my all. I didn't have to say a word, but it was absolutely hilarious.
Yes.
That was fun.
Yes.
That was super fun. You get to do some super
interesting.
fun.
Mad Mike does have some very unique ideas every now and then.
Yes, very unique ideas. Okay, so tell me, because I'm looking at.
Yep. So okay, so. I got this one. It's not quite. It was a road story, but not as a musician. But it's so good I can't.
Oh, well, go.
You know,
I shall sit here and
all
drink
right.
water.
So this was one of the many reasons why I stopped drinking.
All stories should begin like this.
I mean, this was one of those red flag. I should have stopped. Drinking. Okay, so. I was roading for a friend of mine who was opening for Saving Abel in La Crosse.
Okay.
And I went there, I got the whole shebang and whatnot. And it's just like they started early, and once they got done, I started drinking. So I was having a Belvedere vodka. One of the bass player had bought a gallon of Jameson, so I was taking
a gallon of anything doesn't sound like a good idea.
Exactly. So I had like 5 shots of that.
Holy cow!
Oh yeah, I was a drinker. Oh yeah. Yeah.
You are a professional.
I was a professional shooter, as I like to call it.
Okay.
So it's just like I was doing that, and then I had these. So what had happened was they only had certain drinks, and they had the top shelf, and then they had the lower end. The lower end.
The crap.
The crap, right? Exactly.
The well drinks, yes.
I couldn't afford it, so you could get 2 of the crap ones for the top shelf. So I'm going like, okay.
Volume.
So I ended up mixing vodka, cheap vodka, with Killicuddy cherry.
Okay. I'm thinking of this, and I know what McGillicuddy cherry is.
Right. So I had about 5 of those.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. So I ended up blacking out.
Naturally.
All
I'd be dead.
Yep. Okay. Well, yeah. That's not. Yeah. You think that's something? Yeah. Anyways, so I drive home. I woke up the next day. We drive home. I ended up sleeping a whole nother day straight. Right.
Seems. Yep.
And I'm waking up, and I check my phone, and here is drunk me, after I was blacked out, flirting with 3 women, who were flirting back at me, including the bartender. And I don't remember a single word of this. I'm going like, what? And it ended up being in a song that we wrote called Hairpin Turn.
Oh, okay. So that was inspiration.
That was inspiration going like, but yeah, so it was actually my birthday that I had quit. You thought all that was something? On my birthday 2 years ago, I ended up having 20 shots in 2 hours.
Okay, you should not be here. You should not be here like as a human on this earth above ground.
Yep. And when I woke up the next day, not only did I not make a trip to the hospital, but I had no hangover. And at that point, I realized, okay.
You're a professional now.
I am a professional now, but I'm going like, no, this is a sign, because there's no, and I found out everything that happened.
Yeah.
And because at the time I was 70 pounds heavier, and I was so drunk they had to carry me out. So I had a friend, he was driving me to this thing, and what had happened was my friend was doing an acoustic on a patio.
So kind of music related, guys.
It is kind of related, and it was his last show of the year.
Oh, okay.
And it just happened to be on my birthday, so everyone was there. Everyone knew it was me. Everyone was buying me drinks. So the bartenders didn't know all these drinks were going to me.
Oh yeah, so they couldn't monitor.
They couldn't monitor, and I didn't say no. I just I took it. I'm going like, hey, I get the drink. I got sober driver. The whole 9 yards. What did me in was the 4 horsemen, shots 11 through 14, which is a shot each of 4 different types of whiskeys.
Oh.
The J's, Jack,
Jameson,
Johnny, and Jim.
Oh.
Now, here's the thing, and I got this on video, and this is the last thing I remember. It was all in one cup.
Oh.
I drank, and this is shots 11 through 14, so I've already had 10 shots before this.
Oh, dear.
And basically what had happened is that, and I remember I guzzled it. I drank it like water within like 10 seconds and no gag reflex.
Oh.
That's when I blacked out, and then I had 6 more after that.
Oh, dear.
And what was actually kind of interesting is that they brought me out to the truck while they, put everything away at the end of the night. We got back to the house that I was staying at, my friend's house, and they tried taking me out of the truck to take me up the stairs to go to the bedroom to pass out. 300 pounds dead weight.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they got me. They got like maybe 2 or 3, 2 or 3 feet, and they're going like, "No, we can't do this." So I was literally sleeping on the lawn from like 9 p.m. And it's just like, yeah. I look back and I laugh now, because I'm going like, "Hey, look, I survived it, and I quit drinking because of it."
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, yeah. So
it's interesting musically, like when I talk to people, they're either really good at drinking or they don't do it anymore at all. I have some sober people in the bands that I'm involved in, and it'll crush you. It will crush you musically.
But still, being in a band, especially being in an original band where we're trying to get people to buy, I still got to get them to buy.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I'm doing the whole, the solo cup. I'm not saying, it's not like I'm saying, oh, this is a Jack Daniels bottle, but there's tea inside, type thing. It's no obvious, alcohol in it, but it's just the stereotype, it's a bag, so there must be alcohol in it because it's in a bag, or, there must be some sort of alcohol in it because it's a red Solo cup.
Right.
And so, yeah,
okay.
So we try what we can.
Okay. Let's see. What's one thing that you would like to do musically that you haven't done yet? That's my own question, I think. I mean, it's kind of a...
Musically?
Yeah, music.
One of 3 things.
Okay.
Either play Sturgis.
Oh, that's cool.
Play Rockfest.
Okay.
Or open for Hairball.
Cool.
So, I want an opportunity to see if we're right about the whole, hey, I want to see how many people become interested in us just by our show alone. Mm-hmm. I want to see if that works.
Yeah.
It's working on a small scale, bars and all that. It seems to be working. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying we're the best show out there, but we try our best to put on the best show that we can. And I know for a fact that when you have those people really into you, when you hear the cheering, and especially when you have the people up front, it makes you, it energizes you even more.
That's why a lot of us do this.
Exactly.
It ain't the money.
No. There was one time I did do a song with Hairball, though, many, many years back. And this is where I got that sensation, where I call it the blur effect. Because everything is going right, but you barely remember it, but everything is going right, and everyone's cheering. Many, many, many years ago, there was a place over in Andover, Minnesota called Pov's, or they call it Poblinski's. And they were this was about 15 years ago or something like that. And it was just, so they were having their 10th anniversary, and Hairball was up and coming at the time, and they did a free show on a Sunday to commemorate. And I'm with my second ex-wife. Don't ask. And it's just
That's also common in music.
Yes, exactly. So we're there. It's a Sunday night. Hey, I got to work tomorrow. Blah blah. So I'm just about ready to leave, and all of a sudden, a familiar song. They start playing a very familiar song. And the guy who was doing, it was a Poison song, and the guy who was, Bobby Jensen, who was doing the song, he's in a band now called Dead Cowboys. Mm-hmm. He was in Hairball at the time. And all of a sudden he's going like, where's Tank? And he's playing the song that I know that he's playing. He's playing Look What the Cat Dragged In. And at that point, that was my flagship song when I was doing all these jams.
Okay.
That was the song that everybody knew me about. They're going like, okay, Tank's here. He's playing Look What the Cat Dragged In. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, when he said, where's Tank? And here's the stage. And there was a wall, and then you had the entrance exit. And I heard that, and next thing you know, I started running all the way around. There's a few people there. I'm like almost mowing people down trying to get up on the stage.
Oh, sure.
And it was just like, I apologized to him later, but it's just like, I get up there, and I don't remember much. It was all a blur, but I knew that it was great. I knew that it was, wow. It's just like, it was the best feeling in the world.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's just, that's all I can say.
Okay.
Type thing. That's where I want to go, eventually.
Okay.
Now, how about?
It's weird because I'm so practical. I'm very practical because I do a corporate job. So I guess that's kind of the mind frame. And if you told me, hey, Beth, you're going to be playing the Myth, the Fitzgerald, and the Medina 3 times this year, 2 have been announced, the 3rd one hasn't been yet, I would have been, I don't believe you. And here we are with Trilogy at the Fitzgerald, and I get to do the Pink Floyd, Great Gig in the Sky, hardest song I've ever learned.
Now, for those out there who don't know who Trilogy is.
Oh, yes. So the Trilogy is 3 bands. It's they pay tribute to 3 bands, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, and The Doors. And then they will occasionally have other tribute act openers. So I perform in the Heart tribute that opens. There's also on occasion, a Jefferson Airplane, and then a Jimi Hendrix as well. So they'll kind of weave them in. And so, yeah, that's what Trilogy is. And that's a funny story, is Trent Shaw, who messaged me randomly in January and said, can you sing this song? And he gave me a link to Great Gig in the Sky. And I literally never heard this song in my life. I'm sorry, Pink Floyd fans. I'm so sorry. Because I understand now that is the stupid thing to say. But I listened to it and I went, yeah, I think I could sing it. And he goes, okay, I got an opportunity for you. I got somebody who's going to call you. And I'm like, oh gosh, okay. And then I went and auditioned the song. I had to learn the first 20 measures of it note for note. This is not, so if anybody's familiar with this song, it's sung by a woman named Claire Torrey. And she improvised the entire song in 2 takes. They ended up using, I believe, the first take. And there are no words to the song, which you would think that's super easy. Hey, no words to memorize. But if you're trying to be a tribute with a big laser light show, I mean, they want everything perfect. I'm wearing wigs. I'm doing all the things. They want it note for note. Like, they want it exactly on. So you're memorizing somebody else's improvisation and their tonality and anything. I had to buy sheet music. I had to block it off. I would listen to the recording on the side, and then I would label sections. I'm like, okay, I got sections 1 through 5 down. I can do sections 1 through 5. And you go through, oftentimes in learning a new skill, you think, oh, I can do this. And then you go through this depression zone. Oh my God, this is way too hard to do. I can't do this. I'm never going to do this. Oh, I get, okay, it's not too terrible. Okay, maybe if I work a little harder over here. But anyway, that's what Trilogy is. And Trilogy's gave the experience at the Myth, so I got to do both Heart and that particular song in Pink Floyd and sing backups there. And then we're going to be there at the Medina and the Fitzgerald, and then Sugarbuzz is going to be at the Medina. Not once, but twice. I'm not saying the second one yet. That hasn't been announced yet. But so I guess a very long answer to a very short question is, if you said, would those performing at those places be reasonable goals to have for yourself? I'd say, oh, heck no, I would never do that. That nobody would ever want any product that I was a part of to be a part of that. No, gosh, no. And here we are. So I guess the rule of thumb is, you never know. Just do your best. Put your best product out there. Put yourself out there, and you know, something will maybe happen. But as far as like other projects, I really enjoyed doing Rise Above Instinct, which was symphonic metal, a symphonic metal album, my first and probably symphonic metal album, and I'm going to do a second one with Chad Capper out of Indiana. And I think the other thing musically I wanted to do, I wanted all the video and recordings of myself I could get while I still had a voice. That was just my one thing. I want to do as much as I can while I still have this. I do think that a vocalist will run out of voice before a guitarist runs out of ability to play guitar. So I'm like, I'm not telling you my age, but I'm not young. And I know that I have a limited amount of time. So if people say, like, why are you booking yourself up with all this stuff? It's because, like, I want to do what I want to do. I want to create those memories and those recordings. So when I'm sitting in the nursing home, I can press play and hear, what was. And the one thing that I really wanted to accomplish this year was to get in a band with my husband. So wild that we're in all these bands and we're not in one together, and we wanted to do it on our terms. And I think the terrifying thing, we were talking about this for years, but I actually pulled the trigger in December of 2024, is, well, we kind of want to do like a super group kind of thing, and because it's occasional, it's not going to be, we want to take people who are already in bands, who are doing well in bands, and who just want a passion project. That's really, this is not a moneymaker, this is a passion project. And, picking up the phone and going, hi, are you interested in being in this? Because people would go like, oh, that sounds lame. You're lame. Bye. So, having the guts to just ask, was kind of a big thing for me, because I'm like, oh, they're just going to think this is stupid. And we got really good players from the Other Good Beth project. I don't know when this is airing. Maybe it'll air by the time our first show is already done, but I've got Matt Leonetti, who is formerly of The Hype and currently with Dead Cowboys on both keyboards and guitar. John Gensmer, currently of Rival 5, formerly of bands such as Arch Allies and a bunch of other metal touring bands, on drums. Of course, my husband on bass, who's with Atomic Playboys right now, and Hellion, the Judas Priest tribute. And then Mark Ganji, lead guitar, who's with Queen of the Reich, Hebba Jebba, Three Beards Unplugged, anything else that he can get his hands on, and who was a touring musician for most of his life. And they all said yes. And I'm like, yeah! God, I don't want to screw this up.
I'm actually looking forward to your next show.
Ooh, me too. I'm so nervous.
If I'm not mistaken, so that you did a Facebook page, Facebook.
Oh, I think I know what you're gonna say.
Okay, and you said, okay, how will these 3 songs, blah blah blah, and one of those songs that was on that list, I'm going like, I want to hear that song.
Which one was it? The Firehouse one, or is it?
No, actually, I had a question about the Firehouse.
Do you want me to tell you the song?
Yes.
It's Overnight Sensation.
Okay. All right. No. It's Hailstorm.
Hailstorm. We're actually doing 2 Hailstorms.
Oh, that's even better.
And they're not the radio ones.
Oh no, I know which one of them. One of it is because you had it on the list with Whitesnake and one other one. Hey, we're gonna do these songs that are.
Oh yeah, that I had the top of it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
was it Love Bites?
No.
Oh, Freak Like Me.
Freak Like Me. I love that song, and I know you can pull it off, and I know
about Hailstorm.
I know everyone else in the band can pull it off. So I'm going like, I'll be there front and center.
For Freak Like Me, it'll be song number 3, I think, on the set list.
Yes, Hailstorm has been a favorite of mine for a long time.
So good.
They are.
They're so good. Lizzie's very talented. The whole band is talented.
Yep, but it's just like, I'm waiting for that.
I'm waiting for that too. I'm nervous because it's a compilation of the toughest songs I could possibly sing, and I'm like, how insane, why would you put all of them in together, into a mushed thing? And the hardest one, I think, is the In This Moment. A song by In This Moment is the toughest one. It's called, I'm going to reveal it. It's called Scarlet. And it's not one of their radio hits at all, but it is super intense. And it became Gensmer's favorite. He's like, oh my God, this song is amazing. He goes, can I do the harmonies? I'm like, hell yeah, let's do that. So, we get to chance to experiment with the Triumphs and the Firehouses and Hailstorm and Evanescence and In This Moment. We got an In This Moment song in there, and Warlock. Why not?
Oh yeah, of course.
It's kind of like, I'm going to give a shout out to Metal Witch. I've never seen Metal Witch. I know they disbanded. Mick, I'm brokenhearted because I never got to see Metal Witch.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of on that vein.
The obscure,
A little
but
bit more obscure, but recognizable.
the B-sides.
The kind of B-side, yeah.
Yes, the
Yeah.
B-sides of famous bands.
Yeah, yep. Or bands that just don't get played because it doesn't get dancing.
Yep.
There's no dancing. So, I will be happy if people go to Borgart's and they stand in front of the thing with their beer or their pop or whatever and just stare and nod because, being part of the tribute band scene, that's what you get a lot of. And I'm used to that now. So that's cool. That's cool. That's not a sugar buzz.
I'll be up there going like, yeah!
Yes, and I love that too.
Yeah!
I love that too. I love that too.
That's one of my secrets is that I will dance to these songs because...
You can dance to those songs.
Right, exactly.
You got the
And it's
rhythm.
just like, I'm up there going like that because I'm going like, okay, you want to know something? I'm practicing. Basically, okay, when I'm performing, can I use like maybe this move or it might give me an idea. I have this saying, even innovators start off as imitators.
Yes.
And basically, it's taking. So I had a song that I wrote. Even innovators start off as imitators because we all need to be inspired, and you're not a copycat if you do your. I can't remember. So, anyways, if you take someone else's idea but make it your own, you can still become an innovator.
Oh, we all do that.
Even Eddie Van Halen, God rest his soul,
Yes.
took an idea that someone else had done before him and expanded upon it.
I think that's a great way. Somebody asked me, I was at Ghost on August 2nd. Probably the best concert I've ever seen. Literally the best concert. And I've seen 7 of their shows, so I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. I followed them around the country. And I was with a group of friends, and one of them said, do you ever take things like, okay, see what Tobias is doing over there? Do you ever steal things? Have you stolen anything from Ghost's frontman? Because he's a hell of a frontman. And I said, yep, I absolutely have. I know exactly what it is. He does this little thing. And I did it almost subconsciously. Like I wasn't trying to go, let's do something new. He does this thing where he just like throws the mic from one hand to the other. Very simple little thing. Not everybody does it. And I caught myself doing it. I caught myself doing it at like a Sugarbuzz show. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess that's in my bag of tricks now. But you make it your own. I'm not Tobias Forge. But you pick up things where you go, wow, that's really cool. I like that.
I once did a variation of that. I had a wireless microphone that I tied a long scarf to. And what I would do is that I would twirl it around, type thing. Well,
Okay.
I stopped that really quick because we were doing 2 Battle of the Bands like 1 week apart. And I forgot to retie it on the second show. So as I'm doing it, as I'm twirling it around, all of a sudden I feel like come loose. And if you look at the video, you see it flying off.
Oh, no.
Literally in between the guitar player and the drummer, it fell over there, and I'm going, oh, nope, not going to do that anymore.
Yikes. No. Let's see. Here's another gig story. I haven't told this one before, I don't think. So we were playing, this just came to me. We were playing a Vikings game. Sugarbuzz was. I should determine the band. Is it Blue Rain? Is it Trilogy? Is it Queen of the Reich? Is it Megabeth? Is it Sugarbuzz? Is it Rise Above Instinct? It's Sugarbuzz. And we're playing the Plaza because this is the dancing music, right? And there was this guy that was kind of hanging around, and there are some homeless people downtown Minneapolis. It happens. And I was kind of keeping an eye on him, and seemed harmless enough. And I had my camera or my phone kind of strapped to a post so it could live stream. It live streamed the show. Yep. And this is on video. And he was kind of taking a fascination with the girl singer and sort of kind of following around. And at the end of the show, you can see, and the crowd thins out. It's like thousands, and then it's like 2 people. right when the game begins. And you can see it ending, and you can see me jump off the stage, and I kind of walk around, and I'm sort of walking, I'm trying to walk around something to get to that post, to get down the camera. And you see the, I'm saying homeless guy, I'm guessing it's homeless guy. Homeless guy, just look up quick, see me jump off the stage and start chasing after me. And then you hear me yelp. And I go, "Ah!" like this. What he had done, and it was right off camera. You could see the back of him. He had come around the back and grabbed me and pulled me up. And I did not expect it. I didn't see him coming. And you could see two security guys from the other end just go zooming in, and he drops right away and backs off. And you could see it at the end of the video, and it was just absolutely, because you're kind of in gig mode. You're like, okay, man, this was an early day, and I got to get this down so nobody steals my phone, or I got to, we got to go through security to get back out and get our stuff. And that's just one of those things where you're just like, anything can happen. Anything can happen. Fortunately, he just grabbed me around the middle. And like this, he could have had something, right? Like he could have had a knife, he could have had anything, and that would be over like that. And so no matter how secure you feel amongst your bandmates or your friends or whatever, it takes only a second for that. And it's just anybody who's on stage is kind of a lightning rod for I'm going to call it weird activity. And you have to be super careful, particularly as a female. But I've had a male drummer friend in a band that I was in like 15 years ago. And he was in a different band, and he got stabbed, like in Northfield, Minnesota. Like, this is nowhere, right? Like, this is not a place where it's violent, but it was some drunk guy and whatever stabbed him in the stomach. And you're just like, you have to be so careful. I think you have to be, particularly as a female, you have to be careful no matter what. Yeah. You just have to be very aware of your surroundings. But as a performer, male or female, and I would say male, yes, female, yes times 10, is that you have to be very aware of your surroundings. Yep. and you have to think of these things like, oh, okay, it's 1:30 in the morning. Who's outside? I'm walking outside. Is there somebody going to be walking out there with me? And I will try to walk at the same time. And, there's 5 guys around me in one band. So, but it's kind of scary where you have to be thinking about that, even in the tiny towns, even your little festival towns. I mean, the worst thing that happens is your sign is stolen. That's neat. But if it's, it can be something else. It's weird about, you're worried about your costuming, your mic working, your in-ears working, or remembering the lyrics, or somebody screwing up something. And then on top of that, safety is just it's kind of an interesting side. Even a woman as advanced age as myself still has to be careful around that. So it's just, man, I really brought that down. Dang.
Well.
Okay, that's all right. But you've had some experiences too.
A few, but a lot of people avoid me like the plague.
I was trying to bring this up, and now
I
it's
am
not
actually.
happening.
I am bringing it up because, so I grew up. I basically became a legal drinker, and just before in a biker bar over in Northeast. Actually, it was Shaw's, but it was called Sun Saloon at the time.
Okay.
And unfortunately, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately, but so I had a son through my first marriage, and I was paying child support, and that was important to me to make sure that he was doing that. And so I forego getting a Harley for all these years, and to this point, I'm not even going to do it. But it's just like, you wouldn't believe, I used to wear leather jackets, the whole 9 yards, because to me, I grew up with Guns N' Roses. To me...
That's the vibe.
That's the vibe. Guns N' Roses, when you see them in that leather jacket, they're in a band.
Yeah.
That was our way of thinking.
That's what I always say. You dress, sideline.
Yep.
When you show up at a gig, you should look like you're in a band, not there to watch one.
Right. So the rule of thumb is that you don't perform in your street clothes unless your stage clothes are your street clothes.
Unless you look like you're in a band 20%.
Exactly.
You do.
Yeah. That's the only exception. Yeah. But it's just like, there'd be times where I'd be with my lady friends or whatnot, and some drunk would come up, and all I would have to do is just, hey, how's it going? They know I'm just putting my arm around them because 9 times out of 10, those drunks will be going like, oh, okay.
Never mind. Yeah,
it's just
never
like,
mind.
I learned that psychology from being in the biker bars. It's just like, I just look like I try to be the nicest person, I'm a pacifist unless, provoked. And it's just like, but it's just like, it's that psychology. It's that, and there will be so many times for the first 5 or 6 years after I got my second divorce, and I started wearing, I wore this thing, the leather jackets, I even had a picture with me and Happy, and I was wearing those motorcycle leather chaps.
Oh, the chaps?
The chaps. And it's just like, I couldn't believe how many times a beautiful woman would come up to me, and the first question they would always ask is, oh, what type of bike do you have? And I swear, the second that I said, well, I don't have a, and they're gone. And so it was just like, I started putting on in the back of my thing, I'm not a biker, I'm a full-time frontman in a part-time rock band.
I like it. I like it. But this was fun.
Yes, it was.
We're thanking John for having us on here.
Yes.
So your band, again.
Outlaw Saint.
Yep. And my band.
Bands.
Sugarbuzz, Queen of the Rake, Mega Beth perform new band, and Trilogy, Blue Rain, Rise Above Instinct. I think I got them all. Oh my gosh, if I forget one, I am so sorry.
You could give Moga a run for his money.
Yeah,
we
we'll give
have this guy.
Thank you, John. Thank you for having us.
Thank
Watch Stunner's Stage.